This video from the Innovation Leaders Club will elaborate on how to consistently innovate. To consistently innovate, your organization should plan recurrent innovation cycles to set a pace for conducting proactive innovation activities. More precisely, the video will explain how knowing the innovation cycle approach will help you define the appropriate cycle for your organization, as well as how changing the innovation cycle ownership will better reflect the function most solicited during a specific phase. Don't forget that, as usual, you can access for free all of the content on this video, including the PowerPoint presentation, as well as the tools, if applicable, by clicking the link in the description below. Also, if you like the video, don't hesitate to drop a like, share it with your employees, your colleagues, and even your superiors, and leave us a comment down below. If you don't want to miss a video, subscribe now and get notifications for real and practical innovation management practices coming directly from club members. The Academy works to freely share meeting content discussed during Innovation Leaders Club gatherings. Through online bundles available for a fee, the Academy ultimately provides real and practical methodologies, visuals, and tools that can be edited or customized for your organization, training videos, and much more based on the Innovation Leaders Club members' shared best practices and the collective proficiency of all the members' knowledge. There are 5 key components in innovation management: the innovation strategy, the front end of innovation, portfolio management of innovation projects, development of the innovation, and the innovation launch. The innovation cycle applies to all components of an innovation management system. It is highly recommended to implement an innovation cycle prior to optimizing the innovation management system, since it regulates the innovation pace. Pre-planned, annual, or semi-annual innovation project portfolio review sets this tempo. Organizations are planning their innovation development using a cycle. First, the planning cycle. Secondly, execution throughout the year. Finally, the post-budget cycle to present results. Similar to the budget, the innovation should have a clear cycle. Here's an example of a typical innovation cycle. An innovation cycle is usually named after its launch year. In this case, it's the 2021 launch cycle. At the beginning of the innovation cycle, there's always a revision of the innovation strategy to confirm the strategic arenas. It's the yearly moment to evaluate if a current strategic arena should be removed or if a new one should be activated. In this example, the innovation strategy is revisited in March every year. 2 dates are critical in the innovation cycle. 1. We recommend the launch date be fixed as a way to motivate the team. Many club members align their launch with a trade show or a good time for their customers during the year. For example, building material companies in North America usually launch their innovations in winter because contractors are less busy. Other club members selling consumer products prefer to launch during the back-to-school season or before Christmas. The idea is to group innovation launches in order to create an impact on the market, as well as economies of scale related to launch efforts. In this example, the launch is scheduled for November. 2. The other important date relates to portfolio management. It's usually aligned with the yearly budget planning period for 2 reasons. First, because budget planning is a rigorous process that happens every year about the same time, and because budget and resource requirements are presented along with the project proposal during the portfolio management. And so, when projects are selected, the required R&D budget is pretty much defined. Thus, the output of the portfolio management becomes the input for budget planning. In other words, the portfolio management sets the innovation cycle's tempo as the front end of innovation needs to be completed to present its results at the portfolio review, and the development is initiated afterwards. Some organizations prefer to align their portfolio review with the launch. Both approaches are relevant. What makes innovation difficult is when innovation cycles take place simultaneously, as shown in this visual. These overlaps always take place at some point. For example, just after the portfolio management launches in 2021, the cycle starts for the 2022 launches. And so, while a team should be developing innovation to be launched in 2021, it should also be performing front-end of innovation activities to prepare for the 2022 portfolio review, and it should soon after initiate the strategy review for 2023 launches. Moreover, the development which is urgent competes with the front end of innovation, which is also very important. It's unfair competition, and most of the time, the front end of innovation is underperformed and affects the upcoming development. Some club members solve this issue by having one team working on a launch year and another team working on every other year. Other club members have dedicated resources to the front end of innovation and others to development so that their teams can focus on specific tasks and become experts in their field. Some club members have designed their innovation cycle around the stage gate process. This is mostly found in organizations where the stage gate process is an already established legacy process and they've managed to modernize it over the years, but it's still at the core of their innovation system. In this case, the first two gates fall into the front end of innovation, with gate 2 being the portfolio review. Companies currently implementing the stage gate process don't necessarily include the front end of innovation here. Instead, it starts after the portfolio review, thus Gate 2. There's a separate bundle targeted specifically at the innovation development process. The visual presented here is an extract from Robert G. Cooper's book, Winning at New Products, 5th edition, explaining why it's on a different graphical charter. Dave Casey, the founding president of the Innovation Leaders Club, has contributed to this edition. This is the same stage gate process that respects our graphic template so that they can fit with your other visuals. The idea is to provide you with various options, so feel free to use the visual you prefer. Remember that all models are editable, so you can easily tailor them to your reality. When using the stage gate process to design the innovation cycle, we should note that it isn't different from what we've previously presented. The innovation cycles will take place simultaneously. The challenge remains in dedicating resources to work on the next front end of innovation cycle while having a part of the team develop, test, or even launch innovations. It's usually during these last phases that the team gets very busy and neglects the next cycle. Front end of innovation is always recognized as important within an organization. However, it rarely makes it to the urgent level, except if you've indicated specific dates within your innovation cycle. Never miss a video. Subscribe now and get notifications for real and practical innovation management practices coming directly from club members. Don't forget to click on the link in the description below to access the content discussed in this video. This section will cover who owns the innovation cycle and who can own any changes during the cycle. Let's look at two examples from club members. Here's an example from club member Cascades. Cascades has 4 key offerings. 1. Packaging, which offers solutions to protect, wrap, or call attention to products with eco-designed solutions. 2. Hygiene and tissue solutions, which are designed for residential, commercial, or professional needs. 3. Fiber-based materials, where recycled papers consist of high-quality containerboard, chipboard, and tissue paper that can be converted into packaging and hygiene solutions. And finally, 4. Recycling solutions, where the focus is material recovery to help their customers and the planet. Since its inception, Cascades has developed an innovative business and has always been focused on sustainability development by supplying its raw materials from its own recycling plant. Cascades was well aware that managing simultaneous innovation cycles would be difficult, so they were looking to change the innovation cycle ownership based on its phase. The goal was to clarify who's leading at every stage. It was therefore decided that the product manager would lead the innovation cycle up to the portfolio review. This included revisiting the innovation strategy, performing the front end of innovation activities to prepare the concept proposal, and leading the portfolio review. Then, the leadership was transferred to the development team leader who managed the development phase. And finally, the product manager took back the lead for the launch. In this approach, it's not because the product manager is leading the front end of innovation activities that the development team isn't involved. The same applies during development. It's not because the product manager isn't leading that they aren't involved. The team might remain the same along the entire innovation cycle, but the leader may change depending on the main expertise required for each phase. Most importantly, it allows the product manager to perform the front-end innovation activities of the next cycle during the development phase, and so, changing the leadership during the innovation cycle is a way to free up resources while still being able to focus on the next simultaneous cycle. What needs to be understood is that it's possible to change the owner during an innovation cycle. However, the ownership has to be clear at all times. Having two owners is not recommended. Another club member example is from Lavo, a manufacturer of laundry detergent, bleach, and cleaners under the brands La Parisienne, Old Dutch, Arctic Power, Comet, and Hertel, to name a few. Lavo also has a manufacturing plant for the plastic bottles they produce. Evidently, they compete with very large companies such as Procter & Gamble, Tide, Unilever, VIM, and many others, but they mainly distribute their products in North America. Here's Lavo's innovation cycle. We should note that true innovation cycles are yet again overlapping for Cycle 1 during the development and launch, whereas Cycle 2 is dedicated to the front end of innovation. Interestingly enough, in Lavo's case, they need to present their innovations to their clients in order to get them on the shelves. These presentations occur from August to October, and so they use this opportunity to meet their clients to conduct the next cycle's innovation activities and be better prepared for the next year's presentations. On average, there are 6 months between the client presentations and products showing up on the shelves. In short, Lavo ends up maximizing the time spent with their client by tackling innovation activities from 2 cycles at one time. This is what we call being proactive in innovation management. Another example from Lavo is the leadership change during the various stages of the process. During the innovation strategy, the revisions are the responsibility of the marketing director. When getting to the front end of innovation, the leadership is transferred to the innovation chief, a senior product manager most dedicated to the front end of innovation. Thereafter, the marketing director takes back the leadership for the project portfolio review. Then the R&D director takes the lead for development, validation, and industrialization. And finally, the leadership of the launch is transferred to the sales team. Many club members separate tactical marketing tasks such as communication, event planning, promotional ad, and so on from strategic marketing tasks such as product management, market intelligence, and other innovation activities. It's another way to assign someone to the front end of innovation activities and better develop that expertise. The same rationale applies to assigning people to the launch phase, as launching a product becomes more complex and often uses various platforms such as shows, social media, and the web. Having someone dedicated to launches might ease the recruitment process by focusing on the strength of communication rather than getting a good all-around player. If you haven't done so yet, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss new videos on innovation management practices discussed during the Innovation Leaders Club meetings. You may also want to get a hold of this free content, including the entire PowerPoint presentation with the text associated in the video, and if applicable, the tools presented. You can find the link to get your free package in the description below. Finally, don't hesitate to leave us a comment or watch the next video to learn even more about innovation management practices.